Love, respect. I truly appreciate the time to the genuine ones only. I hope all is well in your end. I hope your day's coming along well so far. Protect your energy because not everybody's having a good time. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? You know, it's fun and games until things change and things become a tragedy within a tragedy. And you reevaluating your thought process. Discrimination is real. And discrimination shows up in different formats. Discrimination shows up in cultures, within the culture, other cultures. Discrimination shows up at jobs. Discrimination shows up at a name you put to your book. Discrimination is real. For us to be on the same page with each other, we have to respect ourselves, to respect our neighbor. To understand at the end of the day, the enemy allows you to believe to go against your neighbor for too long. The enemy allows you to believe to be segregated from each other for too long. Because it was the norm of their norm. But that was never part of God's plan. It takes a village to raise a child. And it also takes a village and a community to be at peace within the community. So you guys could be at peace with yourselves, to be at peace within the community, to have a respectful community. You gotta respect yourself to respect your community. That energy hit different. But when the enemy steps in for too long to allow you to believe it's the norm, of the mindset, to psych you out your thought process for too long, you allow yourself to believe that the normal traits of the behavior that you're dishing out to the universe is the norm. And it's not the norm to go against your neighbor. It's sad to see that different cultures are going against each other. And it shouldn't be. You should be able to go into an environment and be at peace within the environment to respect your neighbor. And I say that respectfully. How can you actually help your neighbor and your neighbor is going against you? And then now your neighbor has malicious intentions towards you. So now you have to be mindful as how you move accordingly with your neighbor. When you're supposed to be genuinely, authentically helping your neighbor without having to second guess yourself. You see when an enemy steps in your life for too long, and then you become your own worst enemy, dealing with trauma on top of trauma, not understanding yourself, trying to elevate to become your best self vision of yourself, but they try to distract you within distract you to keep you at a low vibrational frequency so you won't be able to show for yourself. That energy hit different. Discrimination is real, and it shows up in areas in your life where you least expect it until it happens to you. Someone going against you, it doesn't matter if they know you or not. Respect is a two-way street, especially when you don't have malicious intentions, when that energy hit different. And I say that respectfully. I can respect my neighbor. I can stay in my lane to elevate, to become my best self vision of myself. But my neighbor can't understand to stay in their lane and not cross paths with me and disrespect me when they feel like it because they have controlling issues. It was the norm of their norm because this is what they was shown as a child, that being in situations of toxic situations within their toxic situation, that having a hand problem and having malicious intentions towards an innocent person was the norm. It was the norm for them to pump their chest at a female. It was the norm for them to put their hands on females. It was the norm for her to put her hands on a man. It was the norm for her to see it was okay to hit him like a punching bag because it was the norm. Going against your neighbor. How could you walk into a store? The customer service rep acknowledges all the other consumers but you. But you more than a believer. You ain't even thinking nothing of it, but you saw what you saw because you was a believer what they just did. And it allows you to reevaluate your thought process. How do you live in a community where you can't feel comfortable even going into a store? Dealing with discrimination, language barrier. You're not discriminated against nobody at the end of the day. You don't do that. That's not how you live. You respect everybody. But when they take your energy at the end of the day and say, who do you think you are because you speak up for yourself, you're wrong. It's not about how you doing. But at the same time, too, this is an establishment. Now pay attention. It's a thought process for me. How they watch you in the store within the store because they looking at somebody else, what they just did, and they passed at the end of the day, and it wasn't you. But it's a reflection as to what they experienced. Someone second out their thought process, let alone their freedom, their eyesight. Now the tables turn. Now they pointing the finger at you, watching you around the store, and you got money in your pocket to buy what you want to buy, and even buy them something. But they rather, at the end of the day, go against you and say, what do you have in your pocket? Mind you, just put your phone away in your pocket. They're looking within looking, but overlooking. It's the thought process of me because it really happens. You ever been minding your business within minding your business? Trying to come out your comfort zone? Go into an establishment? Good day, how you doing? I'm here to make a purchase. Instead of them going back and forth with you with words, they going back and forth with themselves with words because they thought they was really going to go back and forth with you with words. And you just trying to make a purchase. It went from asking, if this doesn't work, can I return it back and get my money back? So it does work. And if it doesn't work, what happens? You don't listen. Excuse me, ma'am, sir, who are you talking to? I didn't disrespect you in no shape or form. Get out of here. You don't understand. You Americans, you Yankees. Excuse me, sir? The discrimination card. Why so? I didn't disrespect you, ma'am, sir. It be the thought process of me. How you can go into an environment, make a purchase somewhere, ask at the end of the day, what's the returning policy? They sit here and tell you it works. Besides, it works at the end of the day. You don't know that until you get to your destination. You're inquiring before you leave the destination so you don't have to come back, and inquiring about when you have to come back, if you have to come back. It's common courtesy, respect. You the consumer, spending money, you have the right to know at the end of the day if you can bring it back or exchange it. Or get your money back. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. It be the thought process of me. How they sit up here and do this verse psychology. They sit up here and manipulate your character for something that you truly not. Because it's the language barrier. It's the coherent barrier. Do you not understand what I'm saying to you? You're saying it's not the language barrier, but you're not making sense within making sense. And then you're inviting other people into a conversation at the end of the day to make someone feel like they did something so wrong. And everybody wants to go against them now. All because you manipulated a situation. And you just got caught red-handed. It be the thought process of me. Now you reevaluate your thought process, say, you know what? I'm sorry, sister, brother. I was so wrong for what I just did. It be the thought process for me. It's called common courtesy, respect, ma'am, sir. You're running the operation of a business. Someone inquires, regardless if it works or not. They're inquiring. If it does not work, can I bring it back to exchange it? If it does not work, can I bring it back to get my money back? How does your policy go? It went from that, something so simple when it comes to common sense. But common sense ain't common sense when the mathing ain't mathing. And you got to reevaluate your thought process and regroup. And be patient with yourself, because at the end of the day, not everybody has common sense. And that's okay. It doesn't matter what type of establishment you have at the end of the day to have common sense. And I say that respectfully. Now, just like that, you see how the tables turn? Something so simple. You went against a person at the end of the day to reevaluate your thought process. You said too much within saying too much because you didn't understand what the person was saying. You go into an environment. They don't like your sexual orientation. You just go in and need to mind your business and make a purchase. They eyeballing you up and down. It be the thought process for me. How you doing? When you just trying to spend some money within their community, of your community, where you're supposed to feel comfortable. You know you don't have malicious intentions to bring harm towards yourself or others around you. You know you can respect your neighbor and respect yourself to understand at the end of the day, I'm on God's timing. I'm trying to elevate. It be the thought process for me. How they sit there and judge a book by its cover, not understanding what the cover actually identifies as, because they don't even know who themselves. So they'd rather judge you than judge themselves. It be the thought process for me. They sit there and sneak dish your sexual orientation because they don't know you. It's the thought process for me. What your sexual orientation got to do with anybody at the end of the day? You ain't hurting nobody. You know that energy hit different. Respectfully, it be the thought process for me. Discrimination is real. You can live in an environment. It don't matter what the culture is at the end of the day. It could be the same culture within another culture of a culture. It don't matter at the end of the day. It's so sad and disturbing at the end of the day. A person can have so much hate within their heart for another culture, all because of somebody's labeling on another culture. Somebody misdirected somebody about a culture. Someone didn't take the time to actually do their actual homework to know about a culture. It be the thought process of me. Stereotype is somebody because of their culture. Stereotype is somebody because of something that somebody told you. It be the thought process of me. You know, not everybody's slow, retarded, stupid, deaf, and dumb. It be the thought process of me. It be the projection of the monsters you be saying. Like, why, ma'am, sir? That innocent person didn't do anything to you. It's the thought process for me. How you come out your comfort zone to go into an establishment just to get mistreated. It be the thought process for me. How you can go into a place of business, doesn't matter where it is. They was willing to help the person that came in before you. Sure, no problem. I got patience. But then you realize and reevaluate your thought process, they playing with your patience at the end of the day, so you could come out of character. It be the thought process for me, because you have people like that want to tick and make a bomb go off within you. Tick tack, tick for tack, tick for tack, tick for tack. But you're not doing the tick for tack. When they go boom, and they reevaluate their thought process, saying, dang, I messed with the wrong person today. Yeah, you did. It's the thought process for me. Sitting here antagonizing somebody at the end of the day with your malicious intentions just to get a reaction out of them today. You allowed the first person to go. How was 8 people other before the person that was actually right there after that one person? You know, when you're paying attention with them paying attention, but you keeping it cool, you got time today. They be looking for those moments when you don't have time today because you're not patient with yourself. You're antsy. You gotta go. I gotta go. You know, when you gotta go, you gotta go. It be the thought process for me. So you reevaluate your thought process. You're calm, cool, collective, and you inquire, how you doing? Good day. I'm inquiring that, you know, I was right here and you overlooked me. And the first thing they want to say is, I didn't see you. How was that possible when you greeted me? Then they reevaluate their thought process and say, oh yeah, you was the one that was standing right there before the first person at the door, right? With the second person? Well, you was the second person at the door, right? Then you hear the private conversation within amongst the private conversation. They say, I ain't want to help you anyway. And you didn't even do nothing to them. That's the problem with people today. You don't have to do something to somebody for someone to feel threatened by you. You don't have to do anything for someone to feel triggered by you or get ticked off because you are who you are. It be like that sometimes. Is it right? Absolutely not. Because when you're going to a place of business, you're supposed to get service with respect. You're supposed to get service with the respect that when that person clocked in, they were supposed to be doing their job, and the respect was supposed to be a two-way street. Now they reevaluating their thought process. The boss looking at the camera within the camera and saying that, wow, as I'm watching these cameras, this is not the first time you did this. This is not the first person that said this to me. When he's reevaluating his thought process, when she's reevaluating their thought process, they're saying to themselves is now, you're making me look bad. This is my brand of my company. I am the CEO of my company, and I can't allow you to mess up my reputation. These are my people. I help the community, and you're going against the community, and you making me look like I'm going against my own community. What's wrong with people? It be the thought process for me. People don't realize at the end of the day, you're not only affecting yourself, but you actually affecting your boss. The one that's a good one, hear that good boss that gave you extra pays and you didn't value their time. And the day that you cite your own self out your thought process is when you came across the right one. It be the thought process for me. No need to say racial things to somebody because you don't understand yourself. It be the thought process for me. Service is service, ma'am, sir. Have a nice day. It be the thought process for me. How they go against you, regardless of your color of your skin at the end of the day. You're going into an establishment. Within an establishment, they give you a coupon, say that you can use it the next time. The next time was the next time. The same day was the next time. Then they try to play in your face like you slow. This is the next time and I'm making a purchase. They saying, well, you gotta go. You causing confrontation. How, ma'am and sir? I'm still on the same vibrational level. The high vibrational. No, I'm not on low vibrational energy, but that you are on. And I say that respectfully. It be the thought process for me. False advertisement. It says what it says. I could read. You know when they try to play in your face and think you slow? Yo, it be the thought process for me. When you reevaluate your thought process, be patient with yourself to understand at the end of the day. Exchanging words with a person who will manipulate your character and call the boys on you. When you know, you gotta be mindful. You gotta be mindful. You gotta be real mindful. But you wasn't in the wrong for speaking up for yourself. You did it in a good way, in a healthy way. You recognized at the end of the day where the error went, and they fixed it. And they said, yeah, this definitely needs to be fixed and changed. So at the end of the day, if you come in the store twice in a day, you can't use it. That's what she was trying to say. But it's the thought process for me. It be the thought process for me. You know, discrimination is real. You know, people discriminate against elderly when they're time and they need. People discriminate kids. People discriminate people, each other. And it's sad. It's more sad that regardless to how old you are at the end of the day, it shouldn't be going on at all when it comes to discrimination because it segregates us in a toxic way. Because it doesn't add up when we come together. It doesn't add up. Because when we cross paths with each other, one person can be in the mindset as to, I got good energy with them. I don't got nothing against my neighbor. But then another person cross paths. They got all the energy in the world that they don't want to be next to you. You're dirty. All types of toxic behavior within toxic behavior, that mindset that they were brainwashed, manipulated, and allowed them to believe that this was the norm of the mindset to go against their neighbor. It's sad to see that you could go into a hospital, it's real. It's sad to see that you go into a hospital and be discriminated against and you're getting service done. Or you can go into a doctor's office and be discriminated against. And then it's so sad that they try to play the manipulation card because of the fact that they feel like their word is more powerful than yours. And then they reevaluate their thought process and say, wow, I played this game for too long. I played this game for too long. Nobody else was willing to stand up to you because they was scared. They was in fear. They didn't look at it no big thing like whatever. You go into an establishment, regardless of the doctor's office, a laundromat, a supermarket, a business corporate building, at the end of the day, I say this respectfully. Respect is a two-way street. Respect is a two-way street. Respect is a two-way street. And I say that respectfully. We would never be able to communicate with each other if we can't respect each other. It's never going to make sense. I don't have to like you, and you don't have to like me at the end of the day. But I know how to respect myself and respect my neighbor with no malicious intentions. But my neighbor doesn't know how to respect me. And that's what we have a problem with today in society. And this is not everybody. It's not. But it has to start somewhere when it comes to discrimination and when it comes to the enemy stepping in within our lives and allowing us to believe to go against our neighbor for too long, and it's not the norm. Allowing you to believe that it's the norm to go against your neighbor. It never was the norm. It never was the norm. Never. Never. getting discriminated against. Imagine going into a supermarket. You analyzing what you're getting. You're getting your groceries, doing what you need to do. And because you speak up for yourself, you're wrong. And you're not the type of person who picks on people. You're not the type of person who goes looking for trouble. You don't do that. You don't do that. But when the employees within the employees start to discriminate against the consumer, that's a problem. And then they try to manipulate a situation and say that this person comes into the store and starts problems. That's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. Because it's 10 people against one person. Inquiring, I got time for you today. This is your store. Gotta reach something. It's high up. You put it up there. Can't reach it. Can you help me? Help me? They looking at you, but then looking at you. I don't got time for this. Then you clock into work. And not only did you clock into work, but your boss just told you to help. And you just override what your boss just said. Then you're inquiring at the end of the day, who gives a F about you? I don't got time for this today. Then you're inquiring. Your life situation. You're inquiring your life situation while you're at work. If you're not mentally stable, you should not be at work. Because the consumer is supposed to be treated with respect. You disabled, you got an elderly family member, disabled family member, you're disabled, you're elderly. Or you just go into the store and you can't read something that they put there. And they looking at you, what they're looking at you, why you can't reach it when they put it all the way up there. And you went through the right measures to go to get the right help. You went to the store owner. The store owner said, I'm going to send someone to help you. For them just to disrespect you. So about what's wrong with you? That's very disrespectful to ask somebody what's wrong with their disability. And I say that respectfully, regardless if they're disabled or not. If something is too high up in a store and somebody cannot reach it, it should be no reason why you're even going back and forth with anybody at the end of the day. This is your store. Go get it. Go get it. Why you making someone feel uncomfortable because you're uncomfortable? This is where the problem becomes a problem at the end of the day. Doing too much. And then you sit there and say, oh no, that didn't happen. That's a problem. That's a problem. Somebody goes into an establishment, doesn't matter. They ask for help. They being guided to get the help. They say somebody's coming to assist you. Okay, no problem, waiting. The person approaches you. They look at you up and down. What you handicapped? You disabled? Ain't nothing wrong with you. Why you can't reach it yourself? Why can't you do it yourself? Mind you, it's not your place of business. It's theirs. Or this is their job work site. Why can't you get the information you need on your own? You know, it makes you question yourself as to why is these certain environments open to the public? If they're gonna pick and choose who they wanna pick and choose to pick on when it comes to you. It's sad to see elderly adults or people with disabilities get discriminated against. It's sad. Or people, it doesn't matter if you're disabled or not. It happens. You put a name to your book as to your description as to what transpired to you in your book. It shouldn't go on. It's not about somebody thinking they're better than the next culture. It's not about someone thinking they're better than this and that and all this toxic stuff that the enemy allows you to believe was the norm, and it never was the norm. It never was the norm. It never was the norm at all. Never, not one time. But when you become your own worst enemy, you reevaluate your thought process and say to yourself is, you know what? Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I did do too much at work today. Maybe I should have reevaluated my thought process before projecting that negative energy on an innocent person. Maybe the next time I see them, I apologize. I wasn't in the right mental state. You know, in regards to if they accept my forgiveness or not. That's what a real neighbor does. But when you disrespect somebody, you think they want to have a conversation with you. Oh. They hear you without hearing you, but they don't want to hear you. You already disrespected them. Once you disrespect somebody, then they all bids is off the table. And I say that respectfully, because it wasn't called for. Somebody comes out their comfort zone to start their day. They're not expecting to be disrespected. They're not expecting to go into an environment and be second guessing themselves. They're not. Or you go into an environment and they racially profiling you. First they watch how you look, how you dressed up, or whatever the case may be. And they want to sit there and sneak diss you and disrespect you. And you're coming into their place of business to pay. You ain't asking for nothing for free. You're just trying to have a good time. But they made you feel very uncomfortable within the feeling uncomfortable. You know how when you have that moment within the moment and you're like, I think I gotta turn it back around. But you're like, you know what, let me give it a fair chance. Let me come out my comfort zone. When you know when you have to follow your intuition sometimes, the energy hit different. And you sitting down within sitting down. And you just feel so off and uncomfortable. And they start to disrespect you. Amongst disrespecting you, when it was already disrespecting you from the door of their establishment. They feel like because it's their establishment, it's okay for them to disrespect you. You the consumer. So they'd rather just take your money and disrespect you. The enemy's been doing that already for too long. And I say that respectfully. It's sad to see that you can't go into an environment and understand to come out your comfort zone and, you know, be at peace with yourself in a healthy way without having to deal with someone else's personal problem. It's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. You know, being judged within being judged because they judging a book by its cover. You know how uncomfortable that is? They don't even know you. You can move to a new environment at the end of the day. And you minding your business within minding your business. They're already judging you. Because they don't even know you. Because they was judging you before they got to know you. You had to pay attention to your surroundings at the end of the day. And you knew that they weren't for you. Because you knew they had hidden agendas. You could say hello, good day. But you just knew their intentions wasn't good. The way they was moving. Within moving. And you saw their toxic ways. Because not everybody's for you. And that's okay. They'll sit here and stereotype your description of your character for something that you're truly not. They got all this to say, but at the end of the day, they can't get into who you truly are. The toxic words become the toxic words of the generation curse that needs to be broken. And I say that respectfully. It needs to be broken. Because one minute you could be talking to somebody, next minute y'all falling out. You know, nobody got time for that. Beefing with somebody at the end of the day. Then they got malicious intentions. And then the energy within them, that's how they always felt about you. They always went against you. They always was against you. They never liked you, and they let it be known. When they got the chance to say what they needed to say, when you allowed them to come into your inner space, they never liked you. And the first thing you hear is racial profile. You see how that work? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. You ever been somewhere to an environment, minding your business with the minding your business? Out of town, minding your business with the minding your business, supposed to enjoy yourself and being racially profiled. No one to come to defend your rescue, and you didn't even do anything. But God was on your side. Not everybody has that luck. And I say that respectfully. Not everybody has that luck. Going against your neighbor because the enemy allows you to believe that being segregated, they didn't want you to unite with each other. They didn't want you to respect each other. They didn't want that. They wanted you to go against each other. Because they wanted you to go against each other, they loved the fact that you could sit in the room with your coworker and they going against you, amongst going against you, just waiting for the operation to fail immediately, just to get a reaction out of you. Because that's what happens. You know, when you go see a job place at the end of the day, it's not a playground, it's a workplace. People get it all messed up. You're not there to make friends, and that'd be the thought process for me. When you're the one that's not there to make the friends, you always seem to be the one in something, and it don't even be you. You know, that energy hit different. Or, you know, they say when you're a female, right, and you getting deliveries or whatever the case may be, never be home by yourself. Always have somebody present, right? It's sad to see that. Why should it be so? When you make a purchase somewhere, you're supposed to have it delivered, even if you have it assembled or not, or whatever the case may be. They're supposed to come there to do a job and leave. It should be no reason why, when it comes to two different cultures going against each other at the end of the day, but the person who started it was the person who's delivering the furniture, pumping his chest out of a female, ready to fight a female. Are you serious? All because inquiring about a merchant? It be the thought process of me. When you ask the right questions you're supposed to ask, and when you're a female, they feel the animosity within them because they feel like you're talking too much, and they want to put hands on you because they have controlling issues. It be the thought process for me. His coworker looking at him, with them looking at him like, yo, you doing too much. First thing you hear is, you know, that word. That part for me. I don't like to say that word. It'd be a thought process for me. Because that's slavery terms. And this is not slavery time. Not anymore. Especially not on God's time. And I say that respectfully. It's so disgusting to see a man pump his chest at a female, ready to boil his fists up to hit a female when he's supposed to be doing his job. Sad. when the discrimination is too real. Someone does a delivery in your home. They drop it off. They assemble it. You're inquiring about it. You're not asking too many questions. You're just asking about it. The questions that they're supposed to acknowledge about what they just delivered to your home. Besides just giving you the manual, they're supposed to show you how it works. At the end of the day, it be the thought process for me. How they sit there and would send someone into your home to disrespect you after you just made a purchase. It's sad. It really is sad. It really is sad. It really is sad. Or you come across somebody having a conversation amongst a conversation within a conversation, and you trying to get to your destination. Because the person doesn't understand you and you speak English, they're acknowledging to you that you're stupid. All because they asked you which way to turn. You see how quick that goes? Why so? When you're paying for a service, you gotta be disrespected. You should never pay for a service and be disrespected. Then to hear you Americans, excuse me, sir, what happened? This is the problem with today's society. Why are you here for? It be the thought process for me. You're projecting all this negative energy into the universe at the end of the day. To reevaluate your thought process, you're only playing in your own face. It's funny how they say we slow. Stupid. Excuse me? What are you talking about? Because your GPS is not working, and you've been a cab driver for over 20 years, you mean to tell me you don't know where you're going? It be the thought process for me. Who you can inquire in. You ever got into a vehicle and you opened the window and they rolled it up and locked the windows? Excuse me, ma'am, sir, can you open the windows? I don't know what your problem is today. Mind you, you never had an attitude. That's the first thing they saying to you is, what's your attitude for? When you never had an attitude. You was talking like this the whole entire time. Is that having an attitude? I guess that's too aggressive then. It be the thought process for me. Talking about you causing problems than problems. Why? Because you can't open the window for me? You locked it as I brought it down, and you rolled it up while you starting with me. It be the thought process for me. Sitting there saying I'm gonna call the cops on you. Call them. It be the thought process of me. What authority gonna do to me? You could back yourself up at the end of the day. Now they reevaluating their thought process saying, dang, oh shoot, I got caught. Red-handed. It be the thought process for me. Continue on with the ride. Because I'm not saying nothing to you. All you gotta do is drive. It be the thought process for me. Something so temporary can turn into a situation of a lifetime for them to reevaluate their thought process. For harassment. You know how they say 12 years, or I don't know what the max to get years is when you harass or when you do something to a driver or something? I'm gonna say something. In some cases, these drivers do be real. In some cases, these drivers do be lying. It be the thought process for me. Because if I didn't record within that day when he tried to play in my face, he would have really got away with that one. And I say that respectfully. It be the thought process of me. How people be trying to play in somebody's face at the end of the day to play the victim card, to reevaluate their thought process, they only play in their own face. Sat there manipulating my character for something I truly wasn't. Lied on me and saying that I'm being aggressive towards you. I'm starting trouble with you. I put my hands on you. When, ma'am, sir? Are you crazy? When? How could that possibly be? When they start painting a narrative of their own thought process at the end of the day, a picture of what they want it to be. And when they realize they came across the real one, the right one, they got to get it together today. It's the thought process of me. It's the thought process of me. They quick to sit here and say, you my brother, you my sister, you my neighbor. But we the first one to quick to go against you. How, neighbor? It's the thought process for me. It's a curse of a curse that needs to be broken. Of this generation curse. And I say that respectfully. And all the other generation curses that transpired and transpired. It needs to be broken. The enemy allows you to believe this is the norm for too long. And it's sad to say that regardless of what culture you are, it doesn't matter. Discrimination is discrimination. Imagine being in the hospital, being reevaluated your own thought process. Ain't nobody to help you, but the staff members is going against you. It be the thought process for me. How they sit in there, seeing that you ain't got folks coming in and out of the hospital. So this is a good time to bother you. They're sitting there hurting you. Not realizing at the end of the day, they think that you can't walk. It be the thought process for me. Imagine being in a situation where they think that you can't walk. So you allow them to believe that. And the day they reevaluate their thought process and be scared within their thought process, like saying themselves as, they knew how to walk this whole entire time. And I did this whole entire time. In and out of the room. Hurting, abusing you. Disrespecting you. Saying what they're going to do to you. Not realizing at the end of the day, they only playing their own face. When you became a believer, when you had faith within yourself, to know that at the end of the day, God's going to take care of them. And it's sad to say, it didn't matter what culture they was, because it was multiple. So playing a discrimination card as to point out to what culture, which culture. Nah, it was multiple. When it's multiple, it's more even disgusting. But you know at the end of the day, we live in a cold, disrespectful world. When you bother an innocent person. And you're supposed to be showing up for work, but you're showing up to abuse somebody. You're in the wrong field, and I say that respectfully. There should be no reason why somebody's in the hospital being abused, neglected, or somebody's not able to get the services that they're supposed to be entitled to. The aftercare after leaving the hospital because of their age, and they don't have nobody coming up there to check for them. You say, all hope ain't good help. It's not. Especially when somebody don't want to do their job. It be the thought process of me, how we put the power in the wrong people's hands. We need to take back our key. And I say that respectfully. Our key? Yeah, I said what I said when I said what I said. It ain't theirs, it's ours. It's always been ours. And I say that respectfully. It be the thought process for me. You ever been in an uncomfortable situation within an uncomfortable situation? As you come out your comfort zone? Are you paying attention? You ever went into a grocery store? And you thought everything was fine, wasn't fine. It didn't matter how you paid for what your merchandise you paid for. At the end of the day, you paid for it. But the way you paid for it, they didn't like it. The way you paid for it, they judged you. The way you paid for it, they was ready to hurt you and go against you. Because it's only you. They sit there and judge you because you're homeless. They sit there and judge you because you don't have bills on you. You're using change. They discriminate against you because you're not their culture. And they will sit there and say that you was the one that had a attitude. You was the aggressive. You was the one who was being disrespectful. And the whole entire time, you never even dish that energy out. You ask for a supervisor's help. They look to the person that's helping you. And they're sitting there lying right in front of you. Just to reevaluate the thought process of your thought process now, saying yourself is, now they all against you. How is this in the community? This shouldn't be in our community at all. It should be no reason why we judging our brother and our sister. That's what they say, right? Neighbor. If they're homeless or not. You're supposed to respect our neighbor. Regardless if you're homeless or not. You should be able to go into a store and make a purchase. Regardless of how the format is. There should be no reason why somebody is trying to pass you your receipt and is throwing it at you because they didn't get the reaction that they was looking out of you. They was looking for a reaction out of you once they lied on you. And once they realized they couldn't get that reaction out of you, they were mad. So they threw the receipt at you. The manager saw it within seeing it, but they didn't do nothing. And the first thing they say is, you're miserable. You got a problem. You're aggressive. And you did none of those. It's very dangerous because it happens a lot today in society that they're quick to say somebody's being aggressive. Someone is starting trouble. But they're starting trouble and they're not even starting trouble. All because of the fact that the person was in there wrong and they don't want to admit that they were in the wrong for showing up for themselves. Sometimes taking accountability of your actions is a hard pill to swallow. And I say that respectfully. Something that you're not ready for. The actual domino effect, to start to reevaluate your thought process in the day, to have genuine self-awareness within yourself. You know, these tools that God installed within us, self-awareness, self-healing, self-respect, self-peace, self-control, self-discipline, self-care, self-confidence, self-love, self-worth, self-patience, healthy boundaries, healthy balance, so you can show for yourself, to understand at the end of the day you can stay in your own lane and elevate to become your best self vision of yourself. And when your neighbor doesn't understand that you're just trying to become your best self vision of yourself, they try to sidetrack you and try to distract you within distract you so you could come out of character. But that was never part of God's plan. Never. And you know, it's crazy that God sees everything. God sees everything. God sees everything. And like I said, this page is not for everybody. God sees everything. God sees everything. You gotta be mindful how you treat people. You gotta be very careful how you treat people. You really do. You really do. Just because you don't like somebody, the way they dress or how they carry themselves or whatever the case may be, as long as they ain't got malicious intentions to bring harm towards you or others around you, the energy hit different. The energy just is different. Because I can respect my neighbor with no malicious intentions, regardless if my neighbor's having a misunderstanding self-day, good day, bad day, I could still respect my neighbor. I still could respect my neighbor. The enemy does not live here. The enemy doesn't live here. And we need to be a firm believer of that. And I say that respectfully. It's a better days ahead, God's plan. God said better days ahead. Stop the violence. We're supposed to be united with each other for all the right reasons, not to go against our neighbor, to have malicious intentions to go against our neighbor, to disrespect our neighbor. It's not part of God's plan. The enemy came into our lives and allowed us to believe after generation, it was the norm for us to be segregated. It was the norm for us not to respect each other. The enemy feels like they don't have to do much. We do it to each other. We hurt each other. We hurt ourselves because we start to become our worst enemy. When an enemy just sits back and just watches. And it needs to stop. It really does. It really does. Doesn't matter if your culture, doesn't matter your sexual orientation, doesn't matter your disability. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. As long as you don't have malicious intentions to bring harm towards an innocent person or others around you. You know, the reason why I say these situations too is because these situations happen. And some situations go left really fast. Somebody ends up hurt. Somebody ends up incarcerated. Somebody ends up 6 feet under to a pointless act that shouldn't be acting out. It needs to stop. A trigger turns into violence. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. It does. Because we all are not the same. And that's granted. That's what we need to understand. We are all not the same. Everybody does not have common sense. But we have to be understanding at the end of the day. Just because you don't understand you, don't give you the right to have malicious intentions towards an innocent person. Doesn't give you the right to bring harm towards an innocent person. Does not. Doesn't. It's not right. It's not right at all. It's not godly. Like the good God. You know, the good God that comes into your life to show you that there are better days ahead. The good God that shows you and allows you to be patient with your process because God is still patient with you. The good God that covers you and protects you, you and your family. The ones who are under God's will. I say that respectfully. God is not too happy. God is not too happy. God is not too happy that the enemy stepped in for all these generations. And a generation curse has not been broken yet. Generation curse has not been broken yet. To be at peace. Where's the peace? The joy, the happiness, the authenticness. Where is it at? Not the fake stuff. We don't want that fake stuff. No. Don't nobody want that fake stuff. When it's fake, it would never show what genuine shit looked like up close in person. And that's how we know the enemy will forever be there. Because the enemy doesn't want you to blossom. The enemy doesn't want you to elevate. The enemy does not want you to grow and unite with each other. God is real. God is real. And I say that respectfully. God is real. Protect your energy because not everybody's serving your time. Protect your energy. You know, we can have positive, peaceful protesters to come together to unite with each other for all the right reasons. There should be no reason why we having violence within violence going against our neighbor. My neighbor got them shoes on. I got those on too. Why she copying me? Why he copying me? Like little stuff like that. Let's leave that at home. Let's leave all that toxic, negative energy at home. Your life matters. And this is the time to understand at the end of the day that you matter. You are worthy. No need to go against your neighbor. Because your neighbor's dressed a certain kind of way. Your neighbor's in a temporary situation. They'll be out of it soon. On God's timing. And that's on God. Because God is good. God is good. It's a thought process for me. Stop the violence, stop the violence, stop the violence. See, I can respect my neighbor, but my neighbor can't respect me. I come out my comfort zone to acknowledge my neighbor, but my neighbor disrespects me. I'm trying to find balance within balance, to be able to be patient with my neighbor. But sometimes you gotta walk away from neighbor because neighbor's doing too much today. We could try again another day. Maybe it may be different. Let's see. Has another day progressed? Hey neighbor, how you doing? Neighbor's feeling better today. It's a little patient. But understanding at the end of the day, just because neighbors not understanding themselves today, I don't have to bring my neighbor down because they're having a misunderstanding self-day with themselves. Because I understand as a person within, in a healthy way, the genuine shit that I have within me when it comes to real. You're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, you're going to have misunderstanding days. But you can still respect yourself to respect your neighbor and stay in your own lane. You know when that energy hit different? I can respect my neighbor. Never judge a book by its cover. I truly appreciate time to the genuine ones only. Stop the violence, stop the violence, stop the violence. Just because someone gave up on you, don't give up on yourself. Just because someone overlooked you, don't give up on yourself. You are genuinely loved by all the right people. You are genuinely respected by all the right people. And you should be treated with respect 365 days with no malicious intentions to bring harm towards yourself and others around you. Never allow the enemy or hating disguise or personal malicious intentions psych you out your thought process, allowing your freedom in your pockets of your eyesight because they have malicious intentions and they do not mean well. And everybody's for you. And that's okay. That's okay. That is okay. I hope you have a safe day. Have a safe week ahead of you. Protect your energy because not everybody's having a good time. Naya, genuine love, respect. Love yourself, with God's protection every direction. Love yourself, love yourself. Love yourself, with God's protection every direction. Love yourself, love yourself. It's the thought process for me. To the genuine ones, take care of yourself and be safe. You got this. Be patient with your process. God is patient with you. Be patient, y'all. God got your back. Now you genuine love, respect. Later.